Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen, it's your host Shane Gilfeather and you've got us for round 2 of the Champions League for 2023, sponsored by Matrixx Plumbing and coming to you live from Entertainment Park. And again in my commentary box I've got my old faithful friends, Tim Lawson. How are you, buddy?
I am fantastic, Shane. Very, very excited to be here for Texas Speedway. Who doesn't love a good round of NASCAR? It's going to be absolutely sensational racing tonight. The heat is on for these guys.
Yeah, the boys are showing some really good pace at the moment, and we've got quite a diverse international field here tonight. From New Zealand, we've got on screen Matthew Parry. He raced with us, looks like he's pulled out of that lap. He raced with us in the Daytona event we had earlier in the year and comes second or third from memory, so really good outing from him. And from Brazil, we've got another driver, Tim.
We've got, I've got listed down here Eric Chandra from Indonesia.
Yes.
And then we had,
Pedro Gomez from Brazil. So he's currently in P2 at the moment. Let's see where he's at on screen. Craig Broadbent, hot off good pace at Simmons Plains in the V8 League. He's on pole at the moment. Still 4.5 minutes to go. The boys are out there doing their own hot laps. They can't see each other, Tim, but they're definitely all out on track as we speak, trying to get themselves on the front row of the grid.
And Gomez is a little off pace at the moment. He was about 2 or 3 tenths faster in his practice sessions earlier on before we went live. So I'm expecting maybe a little gain from him very, very shortly once his car gets there up to temper and getting the tyres into swing.
Yeah, the track's not really rubbering up for these boys at the moment, so the grip's probably not there as much. But throughout the race tonight, it's going to be a 70-minute race. So time certain, not laps, as we may be expecting a couple of safety cars out tonight. So we hope that the safety car won't bring out more safety cars.
And the key with any of the oval racing, it's about the 1%. Well, it's actually a 0.1% for the oval racing. Standard tracks is a 1%. For there is a very fine, minute difference between a 26 or a 27. The margins are so fine. Getting the maximum pace turning into this corner, enabling the car to get right down to the apex and then drifting right back out to the bank and hugging that wall on the out to get the maximum amount of traction. It is a challenge lap after lap as we see Scott Flack lock it up through there.
Yeah, quite an unusual lock up there for Scott. Maybe he's just put on the clampers to make sure that he gets another hot lap, because you were saying before, Tim, you were getting some practice laps in to understand what these guys are going through, and it takes a couple of laps for these cars to actually wind up and get up to speed.
Yeah, it takes about 3 laps before you get up to full speed, and around about 4 to 5 laps to get full temp up into the tyres.
So with 2 minutes to go on a fresh set, it's going to be tough. These guys can't dump any fuel either, so they're on a full tank of fuel, I think, through quali, which is about 60 litres, about 40 laps here, 48 laps. And yeah, so we're getting into the sort of almost end of the quali already, because if you don't start now, you definitely need to get out there and be on a hot lap already. As we see Jeff Wynn on screen in the 88, currently
sitting
P8 in the 88. So very good luck for the Asian community, which, yep.
Gomez found the pace that he had earlier in practice and has put it onto pole at this stage. Almost a full 3/100ths of a second gained on that last lap. We can see the
Wow.
margins on these cars very, very tight. Chandler and Pritchard very close together at the moment too. There's a chance that those two could be fighting out for position in the last 1 minute. They've got another 4 or 5 laps left, so they can pop out of the pits now. You're probably just scraping getting the car up to full temp for one final run at it. But it's amazing with the jack camber on these cars. You actually have to oversteer the car on the straights to keep it in a straight line, because they are so banked on the high corners for Texas Speedway. There is a very, very steep encounter as we see the cars through there. It is around about 38 degrees, I think, or 38 to 40 degrees at the peak of the camber. When I was talking to one of the guys that have actually been to this track, and they said it's very, very difficult to actually walk up the embankments. It's that steep.
Well, turn 1 and 2 is a lot more banked than turn 3 and 4, as we just see Pritchard spinning there. And turn 3 and 4 is really hard to get the car to turn in, as the banking's not as hooked as 1 and 2. You really need to pull the car up and allow the car to fall into the pocket and then get back on the gas. You're not going to have the berm pull you in as much. Just trying to see if I can see the official banking stats online.
As we see, the checkered flag is out now, so the guys will be finishing their hot laps, but Broadbent has gone faster again. So he is now in front of Gomez by 6/100ths of a second. And it looks like Scott Flack has pulled out for 3rd position, with Eric Chandler in 4th, Matthew Pritchard in 5th, Matthew Perry in 6th position, Harrison Tebb in 7th, Jeff Newen in 8th, Matt Collins in 9th, Marty Porter in 10th position, Gordon Lee holding on to 11th, Scotty J in 12th, and Troy Cieslowski rounding out our top 13.
So that'll set the grid for our 70-minute race. We'll make sure the boys are ready to go. We'll go to a quick commercial break and we'll be right back after these messages. Okay, welcome back. We're back live. Boys are getting ready to grid up now. 70-minute race. It's going to be a fast rolling start, so here's the grid.
So starting off on the front row, we'll have Craig Broadbench in the number 12. And alongside Craig will be Pedro Gomez in the number 36. Row 2 will be Scott Flack in the number 83 and Eric Chandler in the number 86. Row 4 will be Matthew Pritchard in the 48 car and Matthew Parry in the number 77. Rows 5 will be Oh, right, 8 will be Matt Collins in the number 5 car, Marty Porter in the number 12, Gordon Lee in the number 46, and Scotty J in the number 16, and then Troy Chizarski in the number 17 car at the back. And I believe it is correct, we actually have 2 number 12 cars on grid this evening. We have Marty Porter in the number 12 and also Craig Broadband in the number 12, just to keep it interesting. But some highlights from early practice and qualifying. Pedro Gomez had the fastest speed at the moment in the speed trap. He topped it out with a 3:31 flat, and Craig Broadbent was not far behind. And the guys are off and racing.
Yes, it was meant to be a fast rolling, but it's just switched straight into a zoomed to the start finish line. So we've gone into a yellow flag. We might, the boys have just got to settle down, get in the grid position and slow down.
We just thought we'll wait for these guys to get themselves organised into their start-finish positions. You guys have a little bit of wrestle at the back there, sorting out their positions, but that's fine. Craig Broadband, obviously starting from pole, was the second fastest car from earlier practice and qualifying. He had a top speed of 3:29.3.
I might just interrupt there. I think we'll restart it with a different starting because that was not meant to happen. So we'll cut to a commercial break, restart the server. Actually, no, we'll stay with this. Because it is a long race, we need to get going. So I do apologise. The start was, we've missed the start, but it caught a few drivers by surprise, so we've thrown the safety car out so they can line up single file. And a couple of people are in the pits already, changing tyres. Not too sure if they've come in while the pit's closed, so we'll see that when they exit, or they've actually exited the game. Right, they're still in.
Matty Collins just making a move now, and also the 77 car for Marty Parry is also on the move coming out of the pits. They will pick up the back of this pack. That is the key in this, Shane. Take advantage of any safety car to try and avoid yourself going 1 or 2 laps down.
Yeah, the lucky dog should be active on this as well, so if the guys do fall a lap down, then they should be able to get the lap back under safety car.
Yep.
Just going to see if there's any penalties incurred through that exchange. I don't know if you have any visuals there.
I have one warning at the moment sitting with a pending penalty for Matt Collins. Matt Collins received a stop go for illegally pausing before the start finish. So stopping the track. Clear that penalty when he next does his pit stop, and the guys are now off and racing. Broadbent taking him away from Gomez. The guys all tuck in now. We'll start to see whether there is any advantage from the slipstream down this back straight. Having behind that safety car, they would have lost the tyre tanks in these cars. It takes around about 2 to 3 laps to get up to full speed, and up to 4 laps to gain full tyre tank. Ensure you've got maximum grip for the turning for these corners.
The front two have pulled away now. Broadbent and Gomez really forming an alliance there. And if they work together, although the pack's coming quite hotly behind him, Eric Chandra leading him out in P3, bringing the whole pack up to the leading 2. It's all about tyre attrition and how well they can manage those tyres.
See someone making the move down the inside there. I'm still trying to work out the numbers on these cars and who they're associated to. It's quite a tight pack. take the slide up the inside there. Now we would say they cannot use the wall, as we've seen previously at the Texas Speedway, I believe it was, earlier this year, where the car slid its way around the outside of the wall. That has now been banned and it's no longer available to be used in-game.
What a comical incident, that one. That was at Martinsville. And it's something you would do in the sim, but you don't really expect to see it in real life. But there you go. And yes, like you said, they've banned it. So we won't be seeing that again.
So Jeff Newman here trying to take advantage of the slipstream. Tucked in behind Pritchard at the moment. The guys doing it all reasonably politely at the moment. No one's making any rash moves. They've all just settled into race pace by the looks of it. Managing to keep this train to go. We see the number 5 slide up the inside there.
That was a great pass from Matthew Collins up the inside of Marty Porter. Marty's more looking after his tyres. I think he's gone a bit high mid-term. He needs to be down, further down below. He's probably going to lose another spot. And that's Scotty J behind him. Just a little nudge there, a little kiss. Side by side in the turn, coming out of turn 2. Now he's going to be chasing Harrison Tebb.
Matty Porter in the best position here, sitting at the back, just taking it easy. Maintaining tyre life is the secret, but maintaining that pace through these corners. It doesn't take much to wash off 2 or 3 kilometres or miles an hour. We should be talking American NASCAR, but that is a massive amount of loss down the straight and the power out of these corners. And again, slow in, fast out. Oh, we see one of the cars tuck off the wall there.
That was Harrison Tebb just clipping it coming out of turn 2 there. That'll be a common, I won't say mistake, but a common thing. So to that wall on the right-hand side there, exiting turn 4. This is regarded as a tri-oval, so it's sort of not a complete oval, as the main straights regarded as a tri-zone. Matthew Collins going up the inside, moving up into, what's that, P5. Monstering that car.
Pretty flat, trying to make the move too. They're going to look to put the pressure on Ewan at the moment. And coming around the start-finish line. Scotty Flack just tucks in behind, but I think he's going to have the run and the tail coming down this back straight.
About 3 different lines. Yeah. Scotty Flack looking up the inside, but
just backs off coming into the corner, and there is not a lot of brake. Well, you don't use a brake in these cars unless you're coming into pits. It is a little feather off the accelerator just to wash a little bit of pace off and get the front of that car to turn into the corner. And then basically from here, hitting the apex, it is hard back on the accelerator, get the car to stick and power down out, drift right back out to the wall to maintain that momentum, heading back down the back straight. Coming now into turn 3.
And Scott Flack used that to full advantage as well, because you can see the gap now. Jeff just clipping the wall behind him, but you can see the exit speed totally different. Jeff running quite wide, but Scotty Flack taking the lower banking, and as you said, getting the better shoot out of the corner. It's backing up behind them now. Harrison Tebb, I think, trying to push through Jeff Wynn to get past Scotty J, that is. And that's Matthew Parry from New Zealand down. We almost saw it.
Nervous moment there for the drivers in the car. But we said earlier, the raking on these cars is quite severe. You actually have to turn away from the inside of the track as you try and curb these cars in a straight line. So when they do dive in circuit like that, it is a bit of a nervous moment whether the back of the car will hold when you try and pull it back. But the guys have done well so far. We've been running now for 20 minutes and we are without any incident other than the glitch at the start of the race. But Craig Broadbent doing the big jump at the front of the pack now. He has got a margin of 2.3 seconds. He's running his own race. To see how that plays out for him later in this event. It is always helpful to have another car around you so that you can swap, get a bit of a rest those tyres, get back into your rhythm. it's a lot of hard work to do the whole race by yourself.
Absolutely, and towards the end we're going to see the mental concentration come into play as well, because our other races have been, you know, maximum 40 minutes long. This is a good 70-minute long race, so there's going to be a lot of interruptions. Well, hopefully not. I mean, we've had one safety car, but like you said, we've been going 20 minutes now without fail, and so the boys are going to have to be on it. Like, they're going to have to stop thinking about the shopping and what they need to get on the way home.
Absolutely, and surprisingly, the amount of concentration required for an oval track is probably 3 times more than you would actually think. You think you just get in there and turn a circle? It is highly complicated. There's a lot going on in the steering wheel and through the pedal plate, the feathering of the accelerator, getting the power down, concentration of the cars being around you. It's really, really infinite concentration. It really surprised me having to do a period of time on oval track racing. I was not expecting the level of concentration that these guys are going to have to put in for the next 60 minutes.
I mean, we've got the screaming engine right next to you for, like, let's say these two behind Eric Chandra. That's Pritchard and Collins. No, it's
Gomez and Pritchard.
That's Gomez and Pritchard for P3. Just a screaming V8 engine right next to you really heightens the adrenaline as well. So you've got to concentrate under those stressful levels. As we see Collins and Flack driving side by side, taking a couple of different lines there. I'd love to see the tyre wear on these guys' cars as they go around, but later on we'll probably see how squirrely they are. So how many laps do you reckon these guys will get out of a full set of tyres?
Well, that's undetermined. I haven't spent a lot of time on R Factor 2 on the oval circuits, so I'm not actually 100% confident myself, but I was surprised about how high I had to increase the tyre pressure to try and stabilise the temperature on these tyres. A little bit of trick there. The higher the tyre pressure, the cooler the tyre bows out a little bit. You can wash more temperature out of the tyres. Note that we're not using a brake around here, so it's all about friction against the road, about maintaining that tyre temperature to get the maximum amount of grip. So you're watching SimHaus. This is the Champions League, sponsored by Matrixx Plumbing. This is NASCAR's around Texas Speedway for round 2. And there are 3 drivers on track this evening that are currently on the points table. Scott Flack, as we can have a quick look down, Scotty's sitting in position 6 at the moment. He's leading our points table on 17 points. Eric Chandra has 15 points and he currently sits in 2nd, so he's looking for a fistful early on in this race. And Matthew Pritchard is on the points table, and Matthew currently sitting in 4th position. He has 10 points at this stage. So all 3 guys are looking to consolidate their current point score, but we've got Matty Collins, we've got Pedro Gomez, Gordon Lee, Matthew Parry, Marty Porter, Craig Broadband, Jeff Newen, Troy Cieslawski, Harrison Tebb and Scotty J, all looking to open their account this week for round 2.
Just going through the field, Scotty J's slipping down to P11 now. Maybe that's a sign that he's burned his tyres early, chasing these guys at the front. As you can see, quite large gaps forming now. We've got a 3-way for P3 now. It's tightening up a lot. As we see Gomez in 3, but he's defending. He's got Pritchard and Flack coming up behind too, who's released himself from Matt Collins further back in P6.
Yeah, Collins has got Parry not far behind him, so they'll be battling it out. But they will be burning a little bit of fuel out of the car now. The car will start to feel a little bit different as we see Marty Porter come into the pits. And is that a course yellow?
No, this is a green flag pit stop.
So yellow in S1, is that cars in the pit lane? That would be what that would be. Well, there's 2 cars in the pit lane.
Yeah, there was another, I think that was Troy Cieslawski.
Okay.
He's DNF, so Marty Porter falling back, Gordon Lee coming up to catch the field now. So, oh yes, there's a yellow in P1, Sector 1, but that's a pit exit, I think, when we see that. No, we've got full course yellow.
Well, I can see car 11 currently in 11th, so that'll be Marty Porter coming out of the pit, so he's going slow.
I
And
hope
I'm not
that's
too
not
sure.
what has released the safety car though.
I'm not, yeah, I'll obviously not access to the chat at this stage or unaware why the safety car is called. But this banks the field right back up. Anyone who is a lap down can take advantage and do the drive past to regain their lap back. Be interesting to see whether anyone takes advantage of this safety car to jump into the pits and grab a fresh set of tyres and top up their fuel.
Well, I can see that Marty Porter's received a longest line penalty for trying to pit under the safety car. Look at that. Okay, we're going to get busy here in pit lane. The leader's diving in now, taking the opportunity. Now that the pits are officially open, there's a pit lane speed limit of 80k and no pit limiter to help them stay at that speed. So you can try and cheat your position and your speed down pit lane, but you can't cheat the 80k. Some guys will go slower just to be safer, and it looks like Marty Porter coming back through the lane.
Right, Porter has also got a penalty, but still pending, and it hasn't come through the official rates yet. Marty Porter got a penalised, but there was no penalty issued. It was a warning for pitting outside the pit window, and we've also got a pending warning for Harrison Tebb, and that could possibly be for speeding in pit lane. For that to be confirmed.
Well, this will be devastating for the boys. An end of line's not that bad, to be honest, but yeah, being having to come through the lane on a green conditions, you're going to go a lap down. So we can see everyone's still on the lead lap, although Scotty J's showing 90 seconds back. That might end up as a... Oh, and that's a safety car in, so we're going green this lap. Yes, it's a green flag, they're off.
So the car there jumps out of the front. Scotty Flack at the moment.
And we've got
out
another...
the front of this pack.
Another yellow.
Again, not too sure what's happening in-game chat to be triggering the yellows.
It doesn't look like anyone's actually spun or caused it other than exiting pit lane. This will be very annoying if that is the case.
Oh, that could be part of the in-game, where normally during the NASCAR they would have a pit window where the entire field predominantly pits within the space of 2 laps. Normally triggered with a safety car if there's an event, or during a key intervals within the race. It's a little bit weird for me to try and get my head around, but we see it all the time in the races. There are a number of guys that currently have pending issues or pending warnings at the moment. So Matthew Pritchard has a stop-go penalty for illegally passing before the green. Harrison Tebb has received a stop-go for illegally passing before pit entrance. And Marty Porter has also got a longest line penalty for putting on a closed pit lane. So that yellow may have been called because the guys were overtaking coming into pit lane. As you can see, there's still one car in pit right at the moment, and that is Marty Porter, currently sitting in the pits. As we pay close attention to the safety car here, that looks like it is doing another round. So the order at the moment, we have Scott Flack at the front of this pack, leading from Eric Chandra. Pedro Gomez in number 3, Matthew Perry in 4th, Jeff Newen in 5th, Sixth is Craig Broadbent, followed by Matthew Pritchard in seventh. Harrison Tebb in 8th, Scott J in 9th, Matty Porter runs out of top 10 with Gordon Lee sitting in 11th. And I'm not sure what happened to Matty Collins, he's now a D and F. So we have the number 5 car and the number 117 car, both DNFs at this stage. The number 12 car is still being recorded as being in pit lane. So I'm not too sure if that is an overlay. For the cars to join the back of this pack, we should expect that the safety car will pull into pit lane on this route. And for everyone watching the stream, good evening, welcome, and thank you for joining us. This is the Champions League, sponsored by Matrixx Plumbing for SimHaus and their NASCARs at Texas Speedway for round 2. And things are heating up as we wait for the safety car to pull infield. The whole crew has now banked up. And we still have one car sitting in the pits. Work out, safety car has remained out on track. So we're going to do another full circuit of Texas Speedway. And I'm not too sure what the problem here is with car 12. The timing says that Craig Broadbent is currently sitting in 6th position on track, although we do have 2 car 12s. Marty Porter currently supposed to be sitting in 12th position or 10th position. May actually be sitting in pits.
We're going to go green, and I'm going to make the executive decision to clear all penalties currently out there, as there's a bit of confusion as to what's going on. So we'll just clear it and we'll start again.
So as Shane said, we've got a safety car coming in this lap. The guys are all banked up. So currently we have the 83 car for Scott Flack leading us away now, and we will be racing green. All the penalties are cleared. We're riding on board there with Scott Flack, and we see Eric Chandra jump up the line there, and then we've got Matthew Parry jump up the inside. I've been having a hunt with Gomez, and that is the number 36 car sitting there in 3rd position for Gomez, and Matthew Parry in the 77 sitting on the back of that. And they are hunting down Eric Chandra. It looks like the 4 cars are making a drag away from the rest of the pack, and we've got Jeff Newenham and Matty Parry there having a battle also. You see the blue and the orange car there. These guys have managed to pull back up on the back, and we see a new leader of this race as Eric Chandra moves up into 1st position with Scott Flack sitting high on his heels. Now sitting with Gomez, he's pulled up into 2nd position. And these guys look like they certainly have pace early on. As we come back out with 46 minutes to go, so still a big chunk of this race. Concentration levels now need to be on point. You see Gomez have a little look out there, a little feather off the accelerator here to get the car to turn in, and then hard back on the power here. Drive the cars hard out of the bank, and Gomez will tuck up in behind Chandra here and take advantage of the slipstream. As we also see very close contact there between Broadbent and Parry by the looks of it.
Yeah, I just saw Jeff Wynn coming down early while Broadbent was trying to get down in the hole shot there, down low on the turn, but thankfully we avoided any incident there.
Yes, the guys are doing fantastic here on track, very concentrated, doing a great job of keeping clear track around themselves and awareness of where other cars are in line with them. The vision out of these cars is not overly brilliant, so you do rely on your pit crew to advise you where cars are. As we see another move being made here, Broadbent now looking up the inside, and looks like he's going to get the job done. And the 88 car on the outside there of Jeff Newen. Oh,
Oh,
no, we've got a
someone's
car turned
turned.
around.
Oh, that's Craig Broadbank, commentator's curse.
And that looks like Craig Broadbent and Jeff Newen making contact with each other. And Craig Broadbent just turning the car around. Hopefully he's not carrying too much damage there. See a little bit of a tag on the back there.
Just enough to get the car turned around, unfortunately, as we go back live.
And that is play with these cars. When you do put the pedal to the metal and you hoof back into it, the cars do want to naturally drift out. And even a small lift off the car will still continue to drive out of the corner. You really need to lift off a good 1 second or so before you make that contact to allow the car to wash off that pace and the front of the car to grip, so you can control the front of the car to turn back down the corner to avoid that contact. Very unlucky moment there. Was definitely not intended.
No, it's just these heavy cars, it's hard to control at high speed. I mean, what speed are they doing on exit? 280, 300 kilometers an hour. And just a little touch will throw them off course and into the wall, and around they go. So Craig just rejoining at the back. Got to come in the pits. Those tyres would be cooked by now. Getting down to 80k in for his pit stop.
And surprisingly, these cars do not have a lot of wing, but they do run on a lot of aero. Not necessarily downforce, but an aero around the car. So when you do get a little bit of a tickle up, or someone gives you a bit of a tap on the rear or on the front of your car, the cars do respond aggressively. There is a lot of movement, and a little bit of movement in these cars is a long way. Once you lose that traction and that grip to the road, you're basically a passenger in these cars.
Let's just hope he exits without caution.
I think here the guys have to be conscious they need to stay under that white line. It looks like their safety car is on field, so the guys have done that. I'm thinking what may be happening here is they may be crossing that white line too soon, and the car's coming back on at such a slow speed could be enough to trigger a safety car. So my warning would be for the guys to, when they come out of pits, to remain on the left hand side of that white line to get the car up to speed before they come around back on to that into sector 2, and they should have enough speed through sector 2 to cross that white line up onto the track and then get into the bank for turn 3 into sector 3.
We're back green conditions now. Chandra, is it going to bank up at the front? Watch this. Pressing back, Matthew Parry back, settles into P3. Jeff Wynn left on the outside. Everyone going up, down on the inside there.
Some very tight field of cars now with cold tyres. The guys have to be conscious here. Safety cars do breed safety cars, but the guys doing a great job here to keep it all together and to maintain their speed through here, but the slipstream will come into play once we get through turn 1 and back onto the back straight through sector 2. The guys can get a good power down out of this corner here, and we'll see the cars make a run now on the 77 car of Matthew Parry.
Like Marty Porter spun at the back, and that's brought out another yellow. That's a tanglement with three-way. Oh, Jeff Wynn on the inside. Oh, three-way. Jeff Wynn. Not much Marty Porter could do there on that side of things.
And that is very much a NASCAR incident. We see that quite often in the real cars. A little bit of a love tap, and then it's a bit of a pinball ricochet, taking the other cars out in the play. But all is not lost. The guys, if they're not required, can get back onto the pack. If they have any damage, they can quickly pit under a safety car. They can then take advantage of the future safety car to regain back onto the lead lap. And still, we have around about 40 minutes to go in this race. So there is plenty of time to get back into it. But at the moment we see Chandra sitting on the front in front of Pedro Gomez, Matty Perry rounding out our top three. And a big shout out to the Matrixx Plumbing as a sponsor for this event, being able to put it all together and putting up the prize money for the top three drivers for tonight's results. And we've just had the warning for 40 minutes remaining, as we see a number of cars now dive into pit lane to take advantage of this safety car. Fresh set of rubber and some extra fuel. Looking at the bright yellow number 12 car for Marty Porter as he pulls up into his pit bay. And quite often they will only change the two tyres on the right hand side of the car. The inside tyres do not take a lot of wear when driving around an oval track. They are basically just there to make contact with the road. The little short stop there would be just a splash of dash, more than likely. Maintaining fuel in the tank. These cars can get very lively on low fuel. The rear of the car will start to step out, and it's not a nice feeling when they lose contact with that, or they lose their traction. Again, we'll just quickly round through the Scotty Flack currently sitting on 17 points for the Champions League points table. And Scotty currently sitting 5th on track. We've got Chandra, who currently leading this race, is sitting on 15 points. And we've got Matthew Pritchard, and Matty sitting in 3rd position here. He has 10 points so far. The safety car has pulled in. We will be going green. It is up to the leader of this race to take control as soon as he puts his foot into it. And there we go. We are green. We are racing. And the cars have a little bit of a split here. The guy's a little caught napping there at the back. As we see at the moment, we're Jeff Newen. And Jeff is running in 7th position at the moment. And we see smoke coming out of the cars in front of us. As that made contact, is one of the cars. Cars having a little bit of contact there. Running a little bit of smoke out of the rear tyres as they made contact. But cars were able to keep in a straight line and keep maintaining pace. As we see Gomez now munching a march up in front. He's got a little bit of air free space in front of him, but Pritchard tight on the back of Chandra. Very close race there, and Broadbent is not having anything. He's going to stay with these guys because he wants a piece of this too. At the moment we see Jeff Newen getting a little bit of action there from Scotty J. And it's heating up right across this field. Craig Broadbent at the moment having a look, and he gets a tap from the outside. No, he's just looking down the inside at the number 48 of Matthew Pritchard.
He's managed to hold that, and he's back in trouble. Like, not in trouble, he's in the mix for sure. Matty Pritchard still holds P4 after all of that. We saw him just getting looser with a little tap, as we saw on turn 1 with Craig Broadbent, but now he's got a battle with Harrison Tebb right behind. Look how close they are.
You can bump draft in these cars. That's a little tag on the back.
Oh!
That is a big moment there for Scotty. Oh, that turns the car around. Everyone, lucky to survive through there. That is going to be a pit stop.
Just see what happens here with Matty Pritchard. Oh, just gets tagged on the rear quarter. Slams in the wall straight across. There's not much he can do. He's just a passenger at this stage. Scotty J, Jeff Winnan, or Marty Porter just getting involved there. Managed to settle. That was a scary moment on the inside of the track there.
And again, we spoke about the traction. As soon as you lose that grip against that tarmac, you are a passenger in these cars. Unfortunately, he was doing a bump draft and they still were under load coming out of that corner when they made contact. If that had been down this a little bit, another car length down the straight and they'd straightened up, that would have been a fine contact. They would have continued running down there nose to tail, but unfortunately the back of the car was under load when they made contact and allowed the car to turn around.
So another dash into the pit lane. We saw the leader jump in. I'm not too sure if that was too early. It felt like they should be out there still lapping one more behind the safety car, but I'm sure they know what they're doing. No real penalties I see popping up on screen now, so looks like it's okay. See the boys here have got pits open. That's free for all.
You see the guys now staying left of that white line now before they get their pace up and back onto this to sector 2 before they cross over the white line. That is the preferred line out of here to ensure that you don't enter onto the track while you are travelling at a pace which would trigger the safety car. And we're at the board at the moment with Pedro Gomez in the number 38, I think it is.
We're back under green conditions now, watching Scott Flack, Harrison Tebb. And that's Pedro Gomez from Brazil in P3, just ahead of Scotty J, involved in that early incident. Here comes Craig Broadbent. He means business, this boy. He wants that money. $100 prize money thanks to Matrixx Plumbing.
And we've seen the full effect of the slipstream in the car at the moment. Pedro Gomez actually tops out our radar with a 333.3.
Wow, that's incredible.
Almost a full 1 kilometre faster than Craig Broadbent. But again, Craig Broadbent did a lot of running out in front of this field without any assistance. And you can see the heat coming on the back of this pack. As we're looking at Craig Broadbent now, taking the move, making it up the inside. Does the job, maintains down the tight line, will now allow the car to drift out, take advantage of the power out of the corner, and again rounds up another car as he comes into the side and then makes the move stick.
We saw Harrison Tebb there just getting balked, but it's cost him a hell of a lot of time there. Broadbent, I don't know how he managed to get up underneath, but look at Chandra now up the inside of Scotty J.
And that is the advantage of maintaining your pace through the corners. If you do wash off a little bit of pace, you will get gobbled up. The guys now need to work together to try and maintain their pace through here and get back onto the back of Chandra. They want to keep up with this lead pack. You don't want to drift back too far. You don't want to be left out in no man's land without a draft. It is hard work doing an oval track by yourself.
Yeah, we've got Marty Porter out the back as well as Gordon Lee, trying to just get back into their rhythm, just do their own thing, hoping for another safety car that may come out and give them some reprieve to join back onto this group. But at the moment, we've got like a 5-car battle for P3. I know they've spread out a little bit now, but they're still in the mix. Broadbent moving up into P2 already. Gomez with almost a 2-second lead.
You see Jay on the back of this at the moment, going to make the move up the inside. These guys are just swapping positions. The number 83 car is losing out there. Scotty Flack now has to pull onto the back. Chandra moves up into 3rd position. While they're doing this battling, they're allowing for Broadbent to get a little bit of a space on them, but Gomez has some power in that car at the moment. The number 36 car has marched away from these guys while they battle it out. They now need to come together and start working as a team to try and get back up onto the back of Gomez.
Starting to spread out a little bit. We've got 9 and 10, Pritchard and Lee, I think it is, together, but I think that was just Pritchard coming back through the field now in P9, wants to get up the front where he knows he belongs, showing excellent pace and got the fastest lap of the race so far. Matthew Pritchard with almost a 27 flat, let's just call it that.
Yeah, there's some outstanding times going on here. We're looking very close as the fuel burns out of these cars, whether someone will manage to get into the 26s, which would be qualifying pace.
Got a full course yellow once again.
And looking Matty Pritchard at the moment in the pits by the looks of it.
That indeed could have set the...
that's a DNF. Matthew Pritchard received a stop-go illegal pass before green. Not too sure how that occurred. But Matthew Pritchard is now DNF, so we are back to 10 cars currently competing for the title here. I'm still saying 11, not too sure.
Gordon's probably a lap down, just trying to make his way
he's just
back
clicking
through.
it through. Yep. So Matthew Pritchard now has rolled out. Gordon Lee now sits at 10th on the back of this pack. With 29 minutes to go, things will start to heat up. Guys will be making their calculations, how far they can run with their tank of fuel, how far they can go on a set of tyres. Can they make it to the finish if there is no yellow flag?
What a pending for Harrison Tebb. I think showing up on my screen, the guys, if they pass before the start-finish line, then they receive a penalty. I'm just going to pre-warn the boys.
And just looking at our lap times at the moment, we've got Kroger Broadbent with a 27.079, Pedro Gomez with a 27.10, and also Gordon Lee at the back of this pack with a 27.19. So there is only 2/10 spread across the field. The slowest lap was a 27.3. So that shows you how closely contested these drivers are at this stage. So Shane's just going off to give the drivers a little bit of a warning as we ride around now for the Champions League, sponsored by Matrixx Plumbing. This is the NASCARs from Texas Speedway for round 2. We've got 3 drivers on track that have opened their account in round 1. Scotty Flack currently sits on 17 points, Eric Chandler on 15 points, and Matthew Pritchard sits on 10. Those guys will be looking to consolidate some serious points and build on their current total, but the rest of the drivers in this field are yet to open their account, so it is 20 points up for grab for whoever takes out first position. And it is going to be a 4 or 5 way time. At the moment, we have had 5 drivers all sit in the front of this row. The safety car pulls off now. The guys will line up, knowing that they cannot overtake before they pass that start-finish line. On the restart, as the back and we are now running under green. And Gomez takes us out ahead of Broadbent, Chandler, Jay and Flack, and they're going to take it back into a 3-way battle like they had previously. Ewan, Perry and Tebb. Well, Tebb now looks like he is a DNF. That is disappointing. That must be something going on with the server here at the moment. And then Porter and Lee sitting at the back of this pack. We see someone, Jeff Ewan, coming out of the pits by the looks of it, coming up to pace. He will be clear to pass over the white line. He should be fine. But we can see that Gomez has cleared this field. He's a good 8/10 of a second up on Broadbent and Chandler, who at the moment, Chandler looks like he's falling off the back of Broadbent. He may actually fall back into the clutches of Jay if he's not too careful. The guys are looking like they have to do a little bit of hard work now to try and get back up into a bit of a chain to try and take advantage of any slipstream. And we see Jeff Ewan in the pits now. That could be for fuel and tyres. As we look at what's happening, and looks like we are under another full course yellow. So 4 cars now, D and F. We are now back to a 9-car field. As Jeff Ewan completes his pit stop, he comes back out of the pits. And he will remain on the south side of that white line as he comes around turn 1. And he'll get into his pace in sector 2, and he'll be able to pass up onto the track and gain the back of this pack. Been some very exciting riding. The guys are doing a fantastic job here. There is an outstanding amount of concentration required to drive these cars around an oval for 70 minutes. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, I think you just turn left. It's not that simple. There is a lot of concentration required. There's a lot of feathering of the accelerator. You don't use a lot of brake in these cars. And it is a tricky little thing. No one thinks about using the brake. These cars have absolutely shocking brakes. They don't want to stop when you do use them. Getting into pit lane and slowing down to 80 kilometres an hour to avoid a pit lane speeding penalty is exceptionally difficult. Most people don't take that into account when driving NASCARs. It's not a common occurrence to be using the brakes, but you do have to pay attention to it. You really need to practice your pit entrance to ensure that you wash enough of that speed off. We see Jeff Newen at the moment just running around the inside. Has obviously done a pass through the pit lane to clear a penalty. And we should be all good to go. The car should come up onto the back with, at the moment, Gomez leading Jay over Parry and Broadbent, and Chandra rounds out our top 5 in this key. So as the cars come up into queue, we're hoping that the safety car will pull infield on this lap and we can get back to full course green. Just reminding the guys they cannot pass position until they go a full course green and they have crossed the start finish line. It is a DNF for anyone who crosses or overtakes a car before the start finish line on a green flag. So a couple of guys unfortunately fall to that this evening. If you're watching this evening, thank you very much for joining the stream. We hope you're enjoying it. I wasn't quite organised to get the chat up, so I apologise if anyone's jumped in the chat. I haven't managed to get that up. I'll try and get myself organised here to get that up. The safety car is still going around.
Yeah, the safety car lights are out, so we're going to go green on the next lap. Pedro Gomez out in front, Scotty J in P2. Matthew Perry, our Kiwi, I told you to look out for him, he's in P4, but it looks like Broadbent's just in front of him, sitting there, so I can see 212s and Marty Porter, so someone's out of place here. Could be Marty Porter at the front. It may have been given a wave around, but he's still in the grid there, so we'll see how this plays out on the restart. We've got Gordon Lee up the front as well. Okay, so we're not in position for the restart as far as the actual order goes. Usually these guys get to have a lucky dog, but that's not the case with 1 lap to go. Lights out on the safety car as he rolls into pit lane, and off we go. Pedro Gomez,
and we're off racing again. The guys look like they were napping at the back there, and Jay has a penalty.
Yes, it looks like pretty much the whole field, because they overtook Gordon Lee, who was in P2, slowed down, and everyone had too much momentum.
But we're off and running, and Gomez has got a clean jump on this, caught the rest of the field napping. Jay sits in front of Chandra with Parry and Broadbent running at our top 5 at the moment, but Flack is sitting very close on the back of these. They are going to make life difficult. We see a very tight pack at the back there as the guys come around turn 1 onto the back straight. They will be taking advantage of the slipstream through there, and we'll pay close attention to some of the margins here at the moment. Scott Flack is very close to the back of Broadbent, and we're expecting that he'll be making a move very, very shortly. Jeff Newen has now gone a lap down. Matty Porter is also a lap down, and Gordon Lee is a couple of laps back behind the rest of the field. Gomez at the moment is the commanding driver on field. He is not only the fastest car, he is also very close to having the fastest lap. I don't think there is anyone else. No, at the moment he has the fastest lap with a 27.1 Just waiting for the timing. 27.6 for his last lap. 27.5 for Chandra. Chandra's got the march on, as we can see, going up the inside at the moment. He moves up in second place from Jay. We see a very contested field through the middle there. And a beautiful number 86 car. Now has a little bit of space.
Sure, we just saw Scotty J just diving down into the lane. Bit of pit entry, I should.
Yes, he has gone into pits. And that could be the number 6 car. Could be low on fuel. We're not really too sure what that was, unless he did have a drive-through for the early infringement at the start of the race. So he could just clearing his pit. So he has cleared his warning there. So that puts him now a lap back behind the rest of the field. So we have 5 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Gomez at the front of this pack with over Chandra and Broadbent, Parry, Flack, all on the lead lap. We've got Newen and Jay a lap back, and then Porter and Lee a lap back. We see the number 15 car now turning around there. That is number 16 car, sorry, that is Scotty J coming out of the pits. He would have been having cold tyres and not expecting that, and that has caught him unawares. He is now coming to the pits, obviously, for a fresh set of rubber. We're assuming. No, he continues to drive straight through. Okay,
that's probably from not serving the penalty correctly in the first place. So okay. He's just gone past the safety car, thankfully.
Because the penalty is still showing. Penalty pending still. And it hasn't shown that he has cleared his penalty yet. But that could just be issues with live timing.
I think that's a live timing. I'm not too sure if that's caught up yet, although I did try and help him out before he had to serve that penalty, but he still came in, so...
Well, we can see here he still has the opportunity to fight for position. Here he is fighting with Jeff Newen and Marty Porter, all sitting... Well, Jeff Newen and Scott J are 1 lap back. They're fighting for position. And we've got Matty Porter and Gordon Lee also fighting position 2 laps back at the moment, but the race is on at the front. We still have 5 cars on the lead lap. And we are looking around about 20 minutes to go, I believe. Once the 17 minutes to go, it is going to be a sprint for the checkered flag once this safety car drives in. Thank you guys for watching the stream this evening. Hope you are enjoying it. This is the Champions League, sponsored by Matrixx Plumbing for SimHaus. This is the NASCARs from Texas Speedway for round 2. The guys out there are trying to consolidate some points at the moment to add to the Champions board. How many races, Shane, do we have for the Champions League this year?
It's only 8 rounds this year. It's a smaller championship, but the beauty of it, the cars and tracks change each round. So it's not like we're going to be doing... just give me a second there.
Sorry, just to give you a heads up, the round 1 was the Formula 1 cars at the Melbourne Grand Prix circuit. Obviously, here we are with round 2. Is the NASCARs at Texas Speedway, and there has been a lot of discussion around round 5, and that will be sprint cars on the dirt oval, and there are a lot of guys excited for that. And again, a very, very challenging car to drive in a circle. I've had a little bit of experience with Speedway. I was involved with a pit crew for one of the hot rods, and then followed through into the sprint cars. Ironically, the driver, the hot rods run in a anti-clockwise direction, and the sprint cars run in a clockwise direction. And when he went from a hot rod to a sprint car, He said he couldn't get over how dizzy he was. It took him a while to work it out to go drive the obstruction. But we are back live racing again, sitting at the moment with Scotty J. He sits back in 7th position and he is fighting for the position with Scott Ewan. They are on that back off the cars, and you see one car turned around at the back. That looks like it could have been Gordon Lee. He is not having a great race at the moment, and that is unfortunate for him, but I don't think it is called a safety car. We are just waiting to see. At the moment, it looks like the safety car has been called again. Disadvantage, safety cars breed safety cars in oval track racing. Unfortunately, the guys caught out. That was Gordon Lee, caught out by having cold tyres on the start and turning the car around, coming out of turn 1, I think it was. And it won't take much for him to catch up to the back of this field as the guys will group back up again behind the safety car. As talking about round 5 is what everyone's talking about at the moment for the Champions League, the sprint cars. I am also looking forward to having a run in the sprint car. It sounds like a great deal of fun. Who doesn't want to take 600 horsepower on a winged car and take it around a dirt circuit, oval track? That sounds like a lot of fun. Sitting with Scotty J at the moment, sitting back in 8th position. He's still close enough to the front of this pack to manage to get some points in this event to open his account for the Champions League, with a further 6 rounds to go after this evening. Cars running around on the safety yellow with just under 14 minutes to go now. Gomez has been the commanding driver. He has led for a big majority of this, and he clearly has his handle on how to drive these cars. Eric Chandler is no slouch either. He's also been very consistent in these cars, but Craig Broadbent at the moment sitting in 3. He is going to be a big contender for how the top 3 look in this. Scotty Flack has also taken a little part of this race, having some time running at the front of this field after the first yellow safety car. But it is going to be very, very exciting as the guys are open for a full sprint to the checkered flag. Big thank you to Matrixx Plumbing for sponsoring this event. There's $100 up for prize money, and the top 3 cars will all be celebrating in that, as we can see at the moment. At the moment, it's Gomez, Chandra and Broadbent all fighting it out for a piece of the prize, but there is also the claim to take out the points for this round, a total of 20 points for the leader, and that could make a big impact for anyone who doesn't have points on the board. Scotty Flack at the moment 17 points, Eric Chandra 15, and Matty Pritchard with 10 points. The only 3 drivers in the grid at the moment that have points on the board. So Scotty Flack sitting in 4th position. He can take command of the points table after this event if he maintains his current track position. So it's not just about taking out first prize, it's also about getting that car across the checkered flag. We are very close to seeing the safety car pull out. We're just waiting to see whether the lights come out of the safety car and confirm that it will be pulling in. The lights have extinguished on the safety car. It will be pulling in this lap. And we'll have approximately 11 minutes to go racing. It's a sprint race to the end. No requires for tyres, no requires for fuel. It is now focus, focus, focus. Who's got the pace to be able to keep up with Gomez? Can Broadbent jump Chandra after the start and get a run on him? It's going to be tight. Guys, if you are out there watching this stream, jump in the chat and say g'day. If you're following someone in this event, let us know who it is. Love to hear from you. And if you want to get involved, check out Discord, get on SimHaus. Or if you want to experience, the safety car is pulling in, if you want to experience a full motion simulator experience, get down to Entertainment Park and see Shane as we go green, green, green. We are racing again with 10 minutes to go. Gomez has got the jump on the field again, but Chandra and Broadbent will have to work together now to try and keep up. It is a bit of a slouch start for these guys. It looks like they were caught napping. Chandra has a good jump over Broadbent. See whether he can get this running now to maintain a good flow through here and catch up onto the back of Gomez. He's only 6/10 away. He's close enough to take advantage of a little bit of a slipstream and gain some momentum if he can get the maximum amount of traction out of here. We're looking closely at the moment with only 5/10 now down to 4/10. He has got that slipstream advantage. He will pull up onto the back of Gomez now, and he's going to make a challenge as he comes up now under 4/10 of a second. Looks like Broadbent is now going to have a little bit of an open space. They've got a good margin between the cars, between third, fourth and fifth in this race. So the race is on between Gomez and Chandra. And Chandra now definitely going to have to watch his lines through here. He'll want to be making sure that he is in that draft of the lead car. As we come around the start-finish line again, we can see that margin is getting smaller and smaller every lap. And the number 36 car is now going to have to start thinking about strategy, as Chandra has really got back up onto the tail of this car. The 86 car doing a fantastic drive here. Chandra wants a big chunk of Gomez, and looks like he is going to commanding position here with just under 9 minutes to go. Chandra can sit right up into the tail of Gomez here. He can now command this race. He gets to make the decision when he makes the move on Gomez and how he makes that move. He is well and truly in the draft of the lead car, and it is now a battle of wills. Gomez has got to be wondering about what he's going to have to do here to try and block his line. He wants to try and force Chandra out wide. He doesn't want to allow him up the inside. But Chandra's got the advantage. He gets to control what happens here. Oh, a little tap on the wall. That's not what he wanted. It should not affect the car too much. He has managed to maintain pace. He sucks back up underneath the back of Chandra. But again, that little bit of aero wash, he just needs to pay attention. He can't get too complacent behind the back of Gomez. He needs to be in control of that car.
Yes, these boys has only got 7.5 minutes to go. I'd say this could be the last green run to the finish line. Gomez and Chandra out in front, battling it out. Broadbent right behind them. Scott Flack trying to bridge the gap there, but not too sure who's got the right amount of fuel towards the end there. You definitely don't want to be dumping any fuel if we get another safety before the end.
Broadbent has taken advantage of Chandra and Gomez when they had that slight touch to the wall. Broadbent is now gaining on those two cars at the lead pack, but he has a good margin up now from Flack. He's 2 seconds up the field, and he's only 7/10 off the back of Chandra and closing that margin. So it could be that we're going to end up with 7 minutes to go. We could be looking at a three-way race for the checkered flag. Very, very exciting stuff. After 65 minutes of racing, we are less than half a second margin. That's how insane the racing is with these cars, and a big tip of the hat and cheer off to these guys. It is an amazing amount of concentration to keep up with this, but Gomez now has a little bit of a margin. Chandra now has to be considerate of what Broadbent is going to do as he's pulled up into the back of this pack. Maybe the two can work together to try and bump draft their way back up onto the back of Gomez. And it is now a three-way battle. And looking around the outside, Chandra is going to struggle to try and make it stick up there. He can do the crisscross, come back down the inside on the turnabout corner, get down the inside through here. No, Chandra shuts the door on him. And Broadbent's content to sit behind here at the moment. But they're going to need to suck up behind these two cars. Be careful, don't make contact through here. If you want to do the bump draft, you have to make sure these cars are in a straight line. And there is the move again, pushing up on the outside, not where you want to be. You need to be down the inside. And here's the move. There is the lack of draft through there. And that is a massive incident for both of the two cars there. And Ewan now takes out lead of this race over Chandra with Parry, Broadbent, Porter, Jay, and Gomez holds on to 7th. But again, we saw that is how the draft of these cars, you get right up into the tail, you have to be in control of the car. I'm not too sure whether there was contact there, but there was certainly enough disturbance in the draft. You see how close these cars actually got to each other. And there might have just a little bit of touch, a little bit of shake of the tail, and enough to touch those cars, and that turned them around. Unfortunately, that is a disappointing time. As we see now with 5 minutes to go, we are in the safety car. We'll wait for the guys to do their repairs through pits before we talk about where is on track. At the moment, our timing says that Eric Chandra is leading this race over Matty Perry, with Matty Porter, Craig Broadbent routing at the top 5 with Gomez. There are no penalties at the moment. Scotty J has a drive-through, but that could just be the system hasn't cleared that up. So we'll wait for these guys to group back up behind the safety car. With 4 minutes to go, we hope that the safety car will clear in time for these guys to get back out and do some racing. But it has been an outstanding race so far after 65 minutes. Matrixx Plumbing putting up the prize money for this evening's race, and obviously racing from coming to you live from Entertainment Park for SimHaus. If you want a full motion simulator experience, get in contact with Shane. He'll hook you up on a V2 motion sim rigs from SimWorks. Absolutely outstanding experience. If you want to find out how steep the hill is at Mount Panorama, jump in a motion rig. Be absolutely wowed by the experience. It has to be on your bucket list. And another fantastic track that I want to try in a motion rig is Monaco. I want to find out how steep it is coming down the hill and around the hairpin at the hotel and then under that bridge. I want to experience that. That's on my bucket list. When I get to Sydney, I'm going to get hooked up with Shane and he's going to strap me into a V2 SimWorks motion rig, and I'm going to have a wow time of my life. Looking forward to it. And we are back racing, and we have just under 3 minutes to go now, with Chandra sitting at the front over a Broadbent, and we see the cars now getting a margin away from this. He's stomping his way away. At the moment it's saying that Chandra is in second place. No, Chandra's in first. Chandra in first place over Broadbent, Matty Porter in fourth, and we've got Matthew Parry in third place at the moment. Chandra have a commanding lead. He is a full lap in front of the entire field. If we remain racing for the last 2 minutes, he will take out the checkered flag over Broadbent. Broadbent and Parry at the moment racing for second place.
That'll be due to pretty much half the field pitting when it's only 4 minutes left, and we see Gomez going up the inside of Porter there, so he's moved up into 3. Still in P4.
There's for the timing line to work it out whether he's close enough to battle for position. It is saying that he is 1 lap down, so he might be stuck in 4th position there. But Matty Parry falling off the back of Craig Broadbent at the moment, with Eric Chandra commanding lead out the front. With only 1.5 minutes to go, there's 3 laps left of this race. 3 or 4 laps left of this race. Let's see how this rolls out. Chandra needs to focus now. He doesn't want to make any errors. Looks like he is about to come up onto the back of Matty Perry as Chandra confronts with some back markers. So he's now got someone to race with. Got Matty Porter sitting back in 6th position in the number 12 car. You can see the timing displays down there. Can Matty get up to 3:30 down the back straight? He is struggling a bit with his pace. cars on full speed should be getting up around the 325, 330 down the back straight. But at the moment, a lot of the cars looks like they're struggling. Here we go, up to 315, 320. And then off the power through there, back into turn 1. And we look like the Parry is very, very close to coming up onto the back. And looks like Matty Parry has dropped back and Scotty J has moved up into 4th position. Gomez up into 3rd now. He's having a commanding drive, definitely a lot of pace in that car. And he has probably not got enough time with only 11 seconds left to go in this race. But Scotty Flack will be the talk of the town at the moment because he will take the lead in the points table after round 2 of the Champions League, sponsored by Matrixx Plumbing, after coming 3rd, I think it was, at the Formula 1 in Melbourne. And now we see the guys crossing the checkered flag. Congratulations to Eric Chandra, maintaining the front of their pack there from the safety car over Craig Broadbent and Pedro Gomez. He holds on to 3rd position all the way from Brazil. And then Scotty J holds in 4th and Matty Perry in 5th position. Marty Porter in 6th, Scotty Flack in 7th, and Jeff Newen rounds out 8th position, and Gordon Lee managed to hold on to finish in 9th and take some points.
Now we'll probably get into some provisional results because we'll need to study what happened towards the end there. Chandra had a 20-second advantage over the rest of the field there, so we'll just need to count back, make sure what all the pit sequences were.
So just to give you an idea how this rolled out, Eric Chandra had 3 pit stops. Craig Broadbent utilised the safety car with 6 pit stops. Pedro Gomez with 3. Scotty J had 4. Matty Parry in 5th position had 5 pit stops. Marty Porter had 4. Scotty Flack had 4. Jeff Newen had 7 pit stops, and Gordon Lee had 6. Unfortunately, we had 4 cars who were classified as DNF. But a fantastic race. Thank you very much for the guys. This has been absolutely outstanding. A lot of pleasure to watch these guys go around. 70 minutes on an oval is not as easy as everybody thinks. There is a lot of concentration required to maintain a car driving around in a circle, and especially...
Okay, welcome back. We'll announce the provisional results as they stand at the moment, but it will be under investigation after the race. And we'll let you know before round 3 of the Champions League how they went. But provisional winner was Eric Chandra ahead of Craig Broadbent. Pedro Gomez, our Brazilian, in 3. Scotty J finishes in 4. Matthew Parry, our Kiwi, just lost that position towards the end there. 100 laps they completed. Marty Porter finishing in P6, Scotty Flack 7, Jeff Wynn doing a great job up the front most of the time. And they're finishing in P8, Lee in P9. And our DNFs, Harrison Tebb was ejected from the race for some reason. Thanks to RF Factor 2, Matthew Pritchard finishing P11 there. Matt Collins in 12 and P13 was Troy Cieslawski. Alright guys, thanks for joining the stream. We'll quickly show you the next race schedule for Champions League, and that will be the stock cars. That's the Brazilian Super Stocks at Interlagos on the 21st of June. So make sure you tune in for round 3 there. The next race for us will be, and it's actually still undecided due to the state of origin, the Watkins Glen at British Touring Cars, meant to be next Wednesday, but may change. So keep an eye on your TV guides there. And then our next V8 race will be at Hidden Valley on the 14th of June. So make sure you tune in, hit the like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next outing. Until then, it's good night. And thank you very much for Tim in the commentary box.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Matrixx Plumbing's Champions League. Join us again next time.
There's